To me, a Koenigsegg, well, of course it's a car, but it's much more than that. It's basically my whole life.
Think Bugatti rules the megaspeed hypercar roost? Hold my beer, says this 310 plus mph Swedish brand. Meet the 2024 Koenigsegg CC850, built to celebrate the Swedish hypercar maker's 20th anniversary. Koenigs, who? That's okay. Because unless you're an inveterate gearhead, spend inordinate amounts of time digesting hypercars on Instagram. Or hang out with the sort of people who think nothing of splashing several $1,000,000 on a Ferrari Daytona SP3 or a Lamborghini Sian FKP 37 or anything Horacio Pagani makes, there's a good chance you may never have heard of Koenigsegg. Performance pedigree. But, oh, what cars? Koenigsegg's greatest hits include the 806 horsepower CCR, which in 2005 beat the McLaren F1's production car speed record. The 1017 horsepower CCXR that in 2007 outpowered the Bugatti Veyron, and the 1341 horsepower Adra 1:1. So called because its 1360 metric horsepower propelled a car weighing just 1360 kilograms for a weight-to-power ratio of 1:1. And then there's the Jesko, which we drove recently. You get a mind-blowing 1600 horsepower and 1106 lb-ft of torque from Koenigsegg's own screaming twin-turbo, flat-plane crank, dry-sumped 5.1-liter V8 running on E85 fuel, 1280 horsepower if you use pump gas. And all that grunt drives only the rear wheels through an in-house engineered, innovative 9-speed transmission that serves as both a manual gearbox and an automatic. Koenigsegg says the speed-focused, low-drag Jesko Absolute version will be the fastest car it has ever built, with a top speed north of 310 miles per hour. The Boeing Jesko Attack model will be a road-legal, high-downforce track rat. And then there's the Jesko, which we drove recently. You get a mind-blowing 1600 horsepower and 1106 lb-ft of torque from Koenigsegg's own screaming twin-turbo, flat-plane crank, dry-sumped 5.1-liter V8 running on E85 fuel, 1280 horsepower if you use pump gas. And all that grunt drives only the rear wheels through an in-house engineered, innovative 9-speed transmission that serves as both a manual gearbox and an automatic. Koenigsegg says the speed-focused, low-drag Jesko Absolute version will be the fastest car it has ever built, with a top speed north of 310 miles per hour. The Boeing Jesko Attack model will be a road-legal, high-downforce track rat. Yes, but what about the CC850? The CC850, which, like the Jeskos, will be fully homologated for sale in the US market, is a loving homage to the 2002 Koenigsegg CC8S, a car that company founder Christian von Koenigsegg labored 8 years to create and was the first Koenigsegg to be sold. The CC850's clean and simple forms echo those sketched on paper and then honed in clay more than 20 years ago by von Koenigsegg himself, though not a single nut or bolt is shared with the original car. The CC850 is state-of-the-Koenigsegg art, built using hardware from the Jesko. It includes the 5.0-liter Koenigsegg V8, though it's fitted with smaller turbochargers than in the Jesko, which means it produces slightly less power and torque, 1,385 horsepower at 7,800 RPM on E85, or a mere 1,185 horsepower on regular fuel, and 1,021 lb-ft of torque at 4,800 RPM. In case you wonder, the original CC8S, hyped as having the most powerful production engine in the world at the time, made a mere 655 horsepower. This is the first Koenigsegg that has not been designed to break a record, Christian von Koenigsegg says. It's not that Koenigsegg is going soft, he insists. It's just that he figures almost 1,400 horsepower and more than 1,000 lb-ft of torque is probably entertaining enough in any rear-drive car with a manual transmission. Rogue transmission. That's right, the CC850 has a stick shift, but it's a stick shift unlike any other. Look inside the cockpit, and you'll spot a shifter standing proud in a classic slotted metal gate that arches upward from the center console. There's a clutch pedal in the footwell, too, but neither is physically connected to the 9-speed Koenigsegg light spring transmission at the rear of the car. It's the world's first stick shift by-wire setup. Using the stick allows you to select 6 of the LST transmission's 9 missions. Which 6 of the 9 you can select is determined by whether the car is in track or road drive mode. And when you get bored with shifting, you can flick the stick all the way across to the right, tug it back, and switch the transmission to operate in automatic mode, in which it shifts by itself between all 9 speeds. It's slightly mad and utterly ingenious. The LST transmission means that, as in the Jesko, there's no clutch or flywheel on the end of the V8's flat plane crank. It might not have the Jesko's ultimate power, but the CC850 still boasts the same stunning throttle response. Von Koenigsegg says the engine builds revs faster than even the free-spinning 4.0-liter V12s in Gordon Murray's T.50 and T.33 hypercars. The car that started it all, driving the Koenigsegg CC8S. 20 years on, Koenigsegg CC8S chassis number 2, the first Koenigsegg ever delivered to a customer, in 2002, still feels awfully impressive. The CC8S name? The CC bit means coupe convertible, a nod to the fact the original Koenigsegg's removable roof, which could be stored in the frunk, looks like an integral part of the car when in place. But it also references Christian von Koenigsegg's nickname as a kid, CC. The 8 stands for the number of cylinders in the 4.7-liter engine, which was based on Ford's modular V8. And the S signifies it's supercharged. Mute. Click to unmute. Play action. Volume 055409. Toggle full screen video. Crop free. Sure, the CC8 feels a little old school today, but in a good way. The engine growls lustily. It's also bolted to the chassis, so you feel it as well as hear it. The 6-speed manual transmission is very mechanical in its feel and motions. The pedals are well placed and nicely weighted, heel and toe downshifts are a snap. The exceptionally heavy steering is our only complaint. Von Koenigsegg, who rides along as we drive down roads that wend among wheat fields surrounding the Koenigsegg factory in Ängelholm, Sweden, says the early CC8S all had different steering weighting as the company tried to sort out the hydraulic power steering system's valving. This is one of the heavy ones. What's most remarkable about the CC8S is that it feels like a proper Lamborghini Crusher, not some cobbled-together kit car. The interior is comfortable, the ride is good, and its wraparound windshield, still a Koenigsegg design feature today, offers excellent visibility. It has a brawny, muscular presence but feels light on its feet and extremely fast, 2 hallmark Koenigsegg traits to this day. Very impressive, indeed.